Vodafone presents the pre-match.
It's time for the Vodafone pre-match, and it's time for our first best-of-3 elimination match here at the Asia Minors. Now, we're going to be kicking off things between Aequus Club and CyberZen. We're going to be seeing Israel go up against China. And we're going to start with the CyberZen roster because yesterday, right, they were supposed to be some of the heavy hitters in it. We've seen a bit more individual raw skill come out of them, but it didn't really shine. Okay, they had some damn tough competition, right, so you can't really take that away from them. But what are we expecting now? We get into this best-of-3 scenario. Do you think they'll play a bit looser, a bit more confident, given the opposition they're up against?
Certainly don't hope they'll play any looser than they did yesterday, James.
That's when you fall apart,
That would be a disaster, to be completely honest. I was a little bit disappointed in these guys yesterday due to the fact, as you said, they were playing too loose. They were playing, you know, without any chemistry, without any team play, without any clear plan of how they wanted to approach the game, so to speak. So I figured, you know, a team like this that has, you know, the pedigree, that has some experience, that's been there before, would at least know how to approach the game in a, I wouldn't say correct manner, because there's definitely plenty of different ways to play Counter-Strike, but at least in a manner where you can see there's a red line in the way they play. It seemed way too chaotic. It seemed way too... How do you even describe it? It just seemed chaotic, you know. It doesn't seem to be good by any means. Individually speaking, aim-wise speaking, they had some moments, you know, where you could say, all right, these guys can play Counter-Strike. HC, for that matter, you know, did some cool stuff yesterday. Great entry-fracking. But overall, I was just disappointed in the way they came in here. I would expect them to be way more prepared. You said it yourself, Blair, it's one of the best teams from the Chinese region, right? Why are they not more prepared? Why are they not playing a better brand of Counter-Strike, so to speak?
Well, it's also the fact that if you look at most of the tournaments that happen in China, you see Vici, you see CyberZen, you see teams like New4, but they're only playing against each other. There's no other better competition to fare off against, right? On the other hand, we have Aequus Club, we got Anarchist. I think we had the interview with Emmy when he's like, he's a star player. I completely agree with him. He is a star opper. Anarchist and Ponct, they played the Faceit Minor with the previous lineup where they actually took down 5 power, although with the caveat that 5 power had 3 stand-ins, which is ridiculous.
Hydra, something with the Asia Minor, isn't there? Always something.
It's always something. Not this time around, though, for a change. Hydra was supposed to play in that minor as well, but unfortunately, due to visa issues, he had to be replaced by Ponct. So these 3 guys teamed up with Zenser, who is the in-game leader, and alongside Asylum, who's kind of like the raw new star in this team, so to speak. But Zenser was actually the one player who, like, you know, played above and beyond yesterday in that matchup against Renegades, where, let's be honest, it kind of got stormed as 13-2. They managed to delay the inevitable for a while. But of course, they should have kind of forgotten that matchup right now, right? Coming into this game, you're talking about Chinese style of Counter-Strike. It's a loosey-goosey style of play where they have the firepower and everything. And we have this team which we've seen only one map of, to be very honest. That against Renegades, where they were not that impressive, let's be very honest about it. But going into this, it's literally one of the few games in this minor where we're like, I have no idea what's going to happen.
And that's where you hope the new coach, you know, the European coach can sort of come in and maybe form this team a little bit, you know, give them a few ideas of how you play some Counter-Strike-based team play, so to speak. You know, how do you deal with this chaotic play style that is going to come in from these Chinese guys? Can we do anything team play-wise, grenade-wise, that is going to make them, you know, feel uncomfortable in the way they play? That's what I would hope he's done. But as you said, you know, we haven't really seen enough to actually judge whether that's the case or not.
Well, I think the benefit here, right, as well, and we'll talk about Emmy a little bit further, because him as a coach, right, he had his stint in NRG, he had some...
A short one.
Thanks, Pim. Be nice to him. Be nice. He may have had a short stint in NRG, right, but that was on their rise. He started to kind of put the pieces together, add a little bit more to it, potentially. Now he's got this team ahead of him, which is a very different breed in terms of experience and what they've actually been able to do. But at least for their opponent here in CyberZen, he should be able to do a lot of research, right, going into it, because they have played at least a lot of games in their own domestic region.
The problem, just very quickly, the problem with CyberZen, trying to understand what CyberZen do, makes no sense to me, because they picked Overpass in a best-of-1 against Greyhound, which is their first pick. Like, Greyhound is so good on that map, and they go through the map. So, can you analyze a team who don't seem to know what they're doing?
No, you can't play. That's just the like silver lining of all this. If you're playing a team who doesn't know what they're doing themselves, how are you supposed to know, James?
So what do they do then? What's the options, Pim? Where are we going with this?
Shoot heads.
What I do like with the fact that he's coming into this Israeli team is the fact that he's, you know, taking upon the task, as you said. You tried to describe it a little bit. You know, he's coming into a very unknown area, a very unknown team who doesn't really have anything to stand on, and he can try to form and build a legacy, so to speak. And that's what they need. You know, if we brand it out a little bit, you know, and take a bigger perspective on the whole thing. We need some educational coming out to these areas of you know, the countries that is not necessarily grown up with big Counter-Strike talent. It's the same thing with NA and Asia, for that matter. We see more and more Europeans coming over there, and whatever you want to accept it or not, you know, they teach the guys over there. They sort of like flourish ideas and bounce off ideas of each other in order of how to play Counter-Strike. And by the result of it, you get much more competitive teams in those regions. So if he can do that with this team and in general in that area of the game, maybe we don't see them flourish at this minor, but the next one or the next one again. So in that regard, I think it's a very positive thing. If we do keep it low-key, though, and go into this matchup, it's going to be one of those scenarios where you cannot say that they're going to win this one. CyberZen is the more proven team. It's the team that has played official games, and we did see yesterday that regardless of them playing like a bunch of potatoes sometimes, they can still win rounds.
Well, despite Pim thinking they are maybe performing like potatoes, let's see what they've got and let's see what the veto is going to hold here, right? Because at least for these two teams, like Blair said, CyberZen, you can't guess what they're going to pick. And Aequus, we don't even have that much of a map pool to look at here.
Yeah, I'm just going to try and predict this based on what I know about CyberZen. I think Nuke's going to be taken out of the picture.
Sure.
I don't think that's a map they usually play on. Dust being removed by Aequus, that's fair enough. I really don't know what they're going to be usually banning. Cash getting removed by CyberZen kind of makes sense because Aequus, the few games I've seen them play in the past, they have played Cash quite a lot, and they've been pretty good, and they haven't been beaten on Cash so far. So I think they're playing kind of a mind game here. Now, this pick from Aequus is a ballsy pick. You don't usually play Mirage against Asian teams.
Yeah.
No matter, even if it's a pretty crappy Tier 2 Asian team, which is like Tier 10 EU, you still don't want to try Mirage. That's a very ballsy pick coming out from them. CyberZen just might go with Inferno. That's a map they're very comfortable with, and they would have seen what Aequus did against Renegades, and let's be honest, they didn't do much. They have gone with Inferno pick. And the final decider, I'm kind of going to go with Overpass here. I think we might actually see Overpass coming out at the end here.
I think it could be the case. I mean, you said it's a ballsy pick to go for Mirage. I think it's a great pick, to be honest. It's one of the few maps they do have a win record on. It's one of the few maps they are tested on, so to speak, in official matches. So coming in as the underdog, you want to play something you're familiar with. You want to play something where you have a foot to stand on, regardless of your opponent. They know that they're not the favorites in this one, so they got to believe that if they play their A game and they play their own maps, so to speak, they're going to be better. So in that regard, it's a great pick. Nuke going out of the way, as you said, that makes sense. Not a map that neither of these teams want to play, and definitely not a map that you want to go in on a third map to territory with, where you don't really know what to expect from either team. So that's out of the way. I would not be surprised if we see Dust 2, which is another open map, another map both teams can play, and another map,
We got it banned at the
sorry,
Pim.
Overpass that was. But Train is gonna be, that's gonna be interesting. I mean, Train is one of those maps where you can approach it two different ways. You can play a very fast style of T-side where you put on a lot of pressure. You play a brand of Counter-Strike that I think the Chinese would like, which is just brute forcing your way into the sides from the get-go. Or you can play the more slow, methodical style of Counter-Strike where I think none of these teams would be feeling comfortable. So I would see this for the sake of the entertainment, only go two maps.
Yeah, I think, honestly speaking, I'll be honest, you have the dark horse thing going for Aequus. You don't know much about them and all that. We have EME coaching. But, on the desk as an analyst, you have to just go with what you know about these teams and what you know about the maps, right? So looking at Mirage, I think CyberZen's going to take it. I'll be very honest about it. I think it's a mistake they picked this map initially, unless they have something crazy planned with CyberZen, which could work out. Bear in mind, unlike any of the other Asian teams or Australian teams, Aequus is the only team who regularly practice against EU teams, because they actually ping well from Israel over to the German servers and the French servers. So I don't know which teams they played against, but even if you're practicing against Tier 2 or Tier 3 EU teams, that's great practice right there. So they might have something in store for us. They could surprise us. But just looking at those maps, I just feel like that allows people like Savage, like TB, like, Viva, he showed a lot of yesterday. We, of course, had HC with some impact frags. And, of course, even though Viva had more frags than anyone in his team, it was once again Bottle who was the highest rated player yesterday in that loss. So that's going to allow... Mirage is a map which allows these players to kind of shine. They're going to be unpredictable. So if you're just used to playing against typical Tier 3, Tier 2 EU teams, you're not going to be prepared for this. And this is the same problem most Middle Eastern teams face in the Asian minor.
And I think it's a fair point to raise that we have to go off from what we know, and we basically do not know a lot about this Aequus club. So in that regard, we just have to guess the best we can and try to analyze the stuff that we have on our hands. And as you said, I think the practice environment for them is definitely better than it is for CyberZen. But when it comes down to the individual level, when it comes down to the experience, when it comes down to pretty much anything else that in regard to Counter-Strike has a factor of playing in, they are on top of it. So I'm allowing myself to be positive surprised by Aces Club, and I'm looking forward to see what they can bring to the table. But looking by the video, looking by the players, looking by pretty much everything, we gotta say that this should be a convincing 2-0 for CyberZen.
Now, Mirage, right, we speak about that so often as a map that's pretty much been figured out at this point. We see it so much, teams know how to play it, but we speak about the Chinese teams, this crazy aim-heavy style, not so much the tactically gifted in that sense. But it's very scary when you go up against these Chinese with open areas and they can just get in there straight away with crazy aim. Bottle, for example, loves to just run around, kind of take full control in a way.
That's what annoys me a little bit about the Chinese scene, because I do see so much potential. There's a lot of aim, you know, there's a lot of, it seems like when they're in clutches as well, there's a lot of individual understanding of how to play the game and how to sort of like move around the map and make sure that you get into favorable positions. But when you have to play off each other or with each other, it seems like they're not communicating. It seems like they don't want to sort of like bring that an aspect into the game. And it's such a small change. It's basically just a mentality thing where if you look at other teams and look how they approach the game and look how they play off each other, how they bait each other into certain like positive situations, so to speak. There's so much to be learned from this region. Somebody got to go over there. Somebody got to teach them. And, you know, you can take the potential from going up here to up here within, you know, a few months, I would say, if they just wanted to enough.
Yeah, I think. What's your number there, Pimp? Just to check, right? Is that like a?
I think he's available right now.
I'll come if you're going to pay me enough money. I'll come
at this point, it could be any given European player who has just a little bit experience.
No, that's so true though. Like if people talk about Tyloo like they're an insane team or whatnot, right? It's not about the fact that they have crazy aimers. Sure, Bentet's a beast, the best player Asia has by far, and like there's no doubt about that. Aequus a pretty decent opera, but then you have. The reason they're the best team in Asia is not because they have like individually gifted players. Now they have Attacker and Fancy coming in, but before that they had Captain Mo, somebody, DD. It's not like they were like crazy aimers. I think some of the players on VG, on CyberZen are actually better players individually speaking, but it's kind of crazy Tyloo with the language barrier, 2 Indonesians and 3 Chinese guys. They still manage to work only because they have the small little fundamentals, like you said, playing off each other, playing in pairs, making it work like a team. That's a small little edge they needed to take it to the next step. And unfortunately, the rest of the Chinese teams, it's like they just don't care about it. It's like we will deathmatch our way to a win. Doesn't really work.
Very true in the deathmatch sentence there. Now, just really quick, guys, who is the pressure on here out of these 2 teams who like really needs to walk away with the win? Is it straight away CyberZen?
Yep.
There's no doubt. Like CyberZen has to win this one. They're the favorites coming into this one. As said before, they have the experience, they have the prodigy to be here. Whereas I feel Aequus Club, it's a free scenario for them, right? If they play well, if they show some potential here, then we'll all be surprised. We'll all be happy on their behalf. And I think, you know, this minor is for them, you know, obviously to win. That's what they want to. But if they can gain some experience, gain some know-how of how to perform in pressured environments, how to perform at a minor, that'll go good for them coming into the next minor and the next minor and the next minor. Whereas for CyberZen, it's an established Chinese team. They need to win, simple as it is.
Yeah, for Aequus, it's also about legitimizing yourself. Like with the Middle East, when it comes to online qualifier, it's always messy. There will never be fair because of how the region is and how the routing is with the network and all that, right? So for them winning on LAN or even coming close to beating CyberZen, it's going to be a big thing, legitimizes them as a team. And for CyberZen, they've been winning so much in China online. Prove it now.
Okay, well, they've tried to prove it online. Let's see if they can prove it on LAN. It's going to be our first best of 3 coming up. We're going to Mirage, and we've got Tom Biz and Jason Kaplan ready to do all the damage, all the commentary, and see how this one goes.
Thank you very much, guys. And yes, as you can see on the desk, it's pretty heavily favored over towards CyberZen. But I think here on our desk, it's pretty much the same thing for us too.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to sort of talk about a bit of an unknown entity in Aequus. I think even coming into the tournament, most of us were saying, how do we pronounce that? I think that was the biggest thing. It's like, I don't know half of the players. I know Imi, obviously the coach, but other than that, yeah, they are sort of a new ground in the minors, and it's definitely interesting. Obviously, it's something great about the minor system is you do get to see all of these new and different teams and how they play up against some of the more established, well-known, and I think, at least in the Asian scene, CyberZen definitely have some of the players that we know and recognize. As you can see from the odds as well, they are fairly favored.
Yeah, and the thing is, like looking back to yesterday, we did get to cast the Greyhound versus CyberZen game. And Greyhound struggled in the beginning. It wasn't necessarily a clean victory for them off the get-go. They had to adapt. They had to learn the way CyberZen was playing and kind of adapt to their strategies. Aequus Club, they're going to be the ones that have to do the same here in a very tough situation playing up against the Chinese team of CyberZen. We're about to kick things off here, Tom. We're seeing CyberZen on the CT side and Aequus Club on the T side. And let's see what the Israeli team here is going to bring out.
CyberZen, you can see HZ. He was pretty good at the openers on the T side in the game we saw yesterday, and he's going to get opened on too this time. Already losing his life, and the T's will kick things off with an opening double. Obviously, having one of the toughest games yesterday, or the toughest, you could argue, so a little bit of an easier opponent today, but we need to see something more from Aequus, and they're already doing much, much better, finding what is the pistol.
What?
How is he getting away with this? 3 kills already. starting to call into question whether this pistol will go their way. He's got to get the ace to try and win it. The remaining two players obviously being a little bit more careful than their counterparts with the battles that they're going to be taking. And you can see Asylum spotting onto the bomb. He knows there's nobody on it, so just will waste down that timer a little bit more. There's no kit for V. Oh no, he actually has. He picked up the kit, so got a little bit of extra time, but won't matter anyway. Zenser will finish the round, and although he gets a little bit of extra cash and maybe something to bring it into this round, ultimately Aequus, they got the pistol, they got it done.
I feel like Viva, though, put his foot down. I mean, they challenged him twice when he wasn't looking in the CT spawn, and yet he 180'd, headshotted, and moved on with his life. Like, that's a well-done play out of him, and that shows he's been able to keep his composure, and I think, more importantly, not really be too nervous coming into this this series, and a very important series, since the loser, unfortunately, will be going back home, and will have no chance to get into the major. And of course, if you win this, you're guaranteed a chance. Actually, you're not still guaranteed a chance, but you're more likely to get into the playoffs, obviously. But you still have to come up against a very tough team later on, which would be Greyhound, to see who gets through as the second team out of the group.
That nade was dirty. Almost 100 damage, probably more than 100 damage, in fact, in the initial stages of this round from the CT side. However, Ponkt is going to be finding the opener. Nice shot from Bottle. He was the sort of star of the show, and he's looking to do a little bit more here. Gets himself a double, makes things interesting now with the CT side, still able to do damage with these pistols. Peak coming in as well from Hydra, who's fairly low on HP. He's going to lose his life to Viva, and the bomb still sat in the middle of the site.
You can see Aequus just trying to take their time here. They know they should have the advantage in the situation, but Asylum, 70 HP, is looking for an opportunity to pick up someone from Kitchen, and the other player, Zenser, is going to be seen over towards short, and he can see there's no one in that direction, so maybe there's a chance Asylum can pick up the bomb here somehow. Maybe they could make a run for it over towards there. Maybe Zenser can actually make a little bit of an opening here if you can just catch out someone. And look how passive CyberZen are being. I don't know if they actually know. Actually, sorry, they do. Viva does spot out the bomb, so there's no reason for them to rotate at all. And Zenser is going to open things up. Viva's going to go down. You can see how cautious Aequus are being. They're not even sure where anyone is, and that's allowed HC to actually get a free frag. Or sorry, a free shot off, which potentially could turn into a frag as they now push in.
Yeah, they hear the bomb go down and try and capitalize off it. It looks like it should be sorted out, but HZ with a nice shot, at least with the dig. He's going to go rounding the corner, needs to hit the shot instantly, and Zenser will do it instead. So very, very close for comfort when it comes to Aequus in this second round. But again, close, but not quite enough for CyberZen.
That's a little bit worrying for me in terms of like information gathering. I can understand when you're Aequus there, you're not sure of the direction they're coming from, but to not expect to have maybe a second player from Kitchen and turn your back like that, put yourself on low HP, that could have been a round that they lost, and that could have been a major round that really hindered them mentally coming into the rest of this map, especially in a best of 3. You don't want to start off weak. You don't want to start off questioning your confidence.
Oh, you want to speak of confidence? CyberZen are bought again. They're trying to really play this forced buy war, but I feel like that could actually come to bite them because they're still coming in with a weaker buy than their opponent, and if it comes in with a clean round now, they're still going to have to eco. Obviously, they have a much higher chance of sort of getting the buys as the loss bonus will build up behind them, but you don't really want to be giving Aequus a 3-4 round lead right at the beginning of the map. So I'm not a huge fan of this force because, as sort of said, I feel like it's one of those situations where if you do a lot of damage in one of the rounds, normally the team you're opposing is going to be a lot safer in the next. And you can sort of see it here, like Aequus, they've yet to lose a single player. It's now, well, they will lose one there. They're not expecting them to be in the window. And actually, Savage just managed to get a rifle. Is this about to become a little bit interesting once again?
Look at the bomb. T-spawn. Actually, if he continues to push that direction, maybe he can actually pick that up or prevent him from getting it. Unluckily, though, Savage won't be able to hear it out in time.
Oh, he's not going to catch him. He'll be too far away, I think. Just around the corner. Literally a second or two difference there, though, and you are right. He would have dropped the bomb, and that could have been round over. Still, he's going to have a very quick flank on the remaining players. Still a chance to do some damage. Doesn't have a kit, so again, the clock will be against him. But yeah, these rounds have been very, very worrying for Aequus. At the same time, I feel like what CyberZen are doing to their own economy could actually prove to be worse.
Don't tell me there's a world here where you can actually get this kill on site. If he gets this one into jungle, maybe gets one onto site, there's a chance, and you can see the HP for Aequus is just not really going to be there, but luckily, Savage will back away, save the AK into the next round. And the thing is, like, we looked at this round as it started, Aequus didn't lose a single player until Savage picked up that AK, or he was able to actually get the first frag, then pick it up the AK, and then almost picked up another one at the end of things there. even into the next round with the AK saved, I felt there was a chance that we could see CyberZen actually still pick up the round nonetheless. They're doing so much damage to Aequus that, yeah, the economy is stable, but they're keeping things very risky for them and keeping them on edge.
Yeah, even the remaining players had such low HP, but this sort of the thing I'm talking about. You sort of look at the money now for CyberZen, and there's going to be that inkling in their mind, like, do we go for something again? Now, I think the obvious answer is no. Like, take the save, don't go for anything too risky, give Savage a chance to do a lot of damage, and you will be coming in with a 4-buy in the next round anyway. But at the same time, the likelihood is you're going to be 4-0 down. Now, you've done a lot of damage along the way, but you still don't want to give the T-side a 4-round advantage at the beginning of the game when they could have had a buy this round, realistically. So I understand their mentality. Okay, we want to break them as quickly as possible, but it is quite risky. Savage, however, is perfectly placed for this push. He did so much damage in the last round. This time he starts off with that AK-47 and will just be sat in the ninja spot. They're not going to check it. The spray's a bit wild, but he gets away with it and finds a second as well. Now the pistols can look to push in, and maybe they won't need that extra round because it's doing damage, but Asylum, he's turned it again. Back into the 1v1.
Oh, no.
He has the HP advantage and just misses the timing on that shot and will eventually win. It's one man surviving again. But it's still 4-0 lead.
It doesn't feel like a 4-0 lead to me, honestly. It is not as clean as that scoreboard says. This has been the most ridiculous rounds we've seen. We've seen CyberZen in situations that they never should have had a chance to win, have actually been almost able to pull it back, and you can see on the scoreboard in just a few seconds, Asylum, 6 kills, 1 death.
He's the one saving them.
He definitely is, and he's had a couple of good shots over the course of this match so far, especially in the pistol round. I believe he got a double kill over towards short in from house. But Aequus, even with the 4-0 lead, I guarantee are still really cautious about how they're playing this because they realize a lot of these rounds were too close for comfort. Is he? Oh, I didn't see him yet.
It's the same spot. I don't know how he hasn't seen him at this point. TB is eventually going to be traded out, but the problem is they don't actually have anyone else on that site, so it's just going to come down to the retake. So although these rounds have been very, very close, it is still going to be a decent scenario for Aequus to make this 5-0. A fair bit of utility to get back into the site. Incendiary on Savage, which could play a big part, but they're looking to take more control. Now, this is quite risky for the T side, trying to push more individually, not take the spots available to them, but Asylum on the flank again. An impact frag, making his presence known over towards that mid spot is going to make things very difficult for the CT side to get back in. And what it seems like, maybe the pistols are actually the more powerful of the weapon. And just look at this. He's not even in mid anymore. That's a fantastic thing about getting that 1 kill. Is HZ still wary? Okay, could there be someone in mid? Could there be someone behind? There isn't. Aequus 5-0 up.
I feel like there's a story here for CyberZen that we saw actually happen in Overpass and play against Greyhound. You remember in towards Monster when they were on the T side? We saw them consistently go for a push through smoke directly into a Molotov. Like they did that 2 rounds in a row, and we were kind of questioning why kind of do that. And yet here on Mirage, they used the same spot twice in a row. Didn't work out the second time, and it seems like they become almost predictable at some points of how they're being unpredictable. Does that make any sense? They're being predictable about how they're being unpredictable, and that's something that was really heavily favored towards them, was their unpredictability and how aggressive they are sometimes, or a lot of the time.
Oh, that was an absolute mess of a push. Like, that was just a mess. They got caught by the Molotov. TB, for some reason, is facing the wrong way. That was just weird, but somehow Savage has just managed to equalize things. They've got that double off. I wanted to see Savage on the AWP yesterday. He's still the man that when I see this team, I'm like, I want to see that guy on an AWP. Very exciting player with that weapon. Quite hit or miss, but I suppose that basically is what an AWP does.
Yeah, you either hit or you miss.
Yep.
So, good job.
They're already pretty much out of utility. Still a minute 5 left on the clock for the T's to make their move. They've got 1 smoke and 1 flashbang. So CyberZen still not in a good state. Savage switching out, but he will find himself another kill to bring it back into a 3 versus 3. However, that doesn't last for long at all. And he's looking to go a little bit more aggressive. And look at the rotation off the B side. Viva's gone into a more passive position. And I think he's got this completely wrong as they're about to come bursting out of the apartments. They've been played completely. Not quite sure why he dropped the bomb out there. I guess for his teammate to go and do the work for him. Setting up Ponked. Probably one of my favorite names.
Oh, that was
sat up and the flashbang's perfect. This is another round on the board. And these are the sort of moments I'm talking about. Like, we haven't had a clean round, a round where I've gone, okay, Aequus, they dominated. Okay, they were like high HP, no one really dying. But at the same time, you've had all these 4 spies early on, and CyberZen haven't won any of them. So the fact is, Aequus are sat 6-0 now. CyberZen, they don't have any rounds on the board. It doesn't matter how close they were.
Yeah, it doesn't, and that's like the kind of unfortunate part of what the scoreline does say, is it is not really showing how close these rounds really are. And I also want to give a shout to Zenser. He's been playing fantastic. I really like to see him hit a lot of these crucial shots. I mean, obviously Punked gave him that great flashbang in to Kitchen, but he's hitting the headshots. He did it in a round prior when they're up against the pistol force up out of CyberZen, able to hit a very impactful shot over towards short, and then of course able to clutch around in the end of things. But CyberZen just can't seem to get a read. And at the same time, just their raw aim is carrying them through to, you know, getting 3-4 kills around sometimes. Or most of the time, we should say.
Yeah. I also think that initial push that they had was just so messy that it sort of like destroyed the rest of the round. Like, you had TB just dying from facing the wrong way. It was just really weird.
Have they full eco to single round?
No, but this time you can sort of say it's fine. Cause
yeah,
they've got the max loss, right? So obviously in the early rounds you kind of understand it as well, just because they wanted to try and break the economy. But Savage this time, he's trying to be the hero. Understandable why he's so aggressive in these sort of scenarios, because he did have the sort of solo weapon, although TB has managed to get enough money to actually pick up a FAMAS. The question is, can they actually retrieve that AWP? Yes, they can. Bottle will have that in hand. So still a chance for them to do a bit of damage in this scenario. Bomb sat towards the top of mid, so Aequus definitely not dedicated to either side of the map just yet, but they do have a lot of presence in A, and Ponkt has just managed to negate all of these CT players. He's going to walk in, and Bottle's ready. Manages to take the kill anyway. The only problem now is going to be HZ, but he completely misses the shots of the CZ, and that will be, well, should be the round, but Bottle's actually managed to sort of pick up an AK.
Yeah, he dropped the AWP.
AWP over to Viva. They're now into a 2v2. This is actually looking like a decent opportunity for them again. A round that shouldn't be going anywhere near their way. Asylum, that flashbang's not going to do anything, but that one will. Much better from him. Still the trades come back, and it's into the 1v1.
30 seconds left to go. Anarchist does have the bomb in hand. He has 1 kill so far towards his name, and you can see Viva being very, very careful going for the peak. Bomb going to go down. He actually might push this one, actually challenge out. He's going to do it, but Anarchist takes his head up, clean off his shoulders, saves the round for his team, and Aequus is now up to 7-0 here on Mirage.
Can you check how many times they've had 1 player alive? Or does it,
if you tell me how, sure.
Hover over it?
Okay.
Does that even work? No.
Doesn't work on Aequus.
I'm sure there was a way to do it. Clearly I'm just brain dead. Either way, I'm sure. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Observers are going to do it for us. Thank you very much. 3 times there's only been 1 player surviving for the T's, and that one on the other side as well a couple of times. So, yeah, it has been sort of a very close-knit game, but the scoreline doesn't reflect it. And I think the risks CyberZen have been taking are a little bit too much. But we got a full buy. You happy, Jason? We have a full buy for the CT side.
Well, the question is it going to matter? I hope so. I want to see a close match here, but the way Aequus is playing, well, I think I can't even say that. Again, these rounds aren't clean at all. And yet CyberZen is unable to secure a single one. It's come down to 1v1 the last round, with Anarchist taking off the head of Viva.
That was only a second kill, by the way.
Yeah, that was only a second frag, but he hasn't really needed to frag too much necessarily. I mean, you have Asylum on 9, you have Zenser on 9, Hydra on 8. Punked and Anarchist are actually on 3 and 2, so they haven't really needed to step up like this necessarily, but CyberZen are just being really awkward in the way they're pushing sometimes, but their shots they're hitting, like Bottle Jr.'s had some great kills so far. Savage as well is up to 8 frags. But let's see, can CyberZen finally turn their luck around here? I like the position on TB. These flashbangs out of Aequus seem to be reading into the way CyberZen want to hold aggressively on this defense.
Got rid of Savage straight away, but look at the bomb. Straight out onto the site. Still going to be traded quickly. And again, HZ is just forced to try and back away, but he's going to be dominated. Bottle well placed to at least finish off another. And again, we turn into a close 2v2 situation. Viva rotating in, clearing out the jungle. And they do at least have mid control. And the bomb's sort of planted for that very position. Viva on the flank. And finally, CyberZen has taken them a long, long time. But they're on the board.
Tom, help me out here. There was 0 smokes thrown in that round, right? Out of Aequus?
Not that I can think of.
I couldn't think. Yeah, I could not think of a single smoke actually thrown in that round.
CT was definitely open.
So was Jungle, so was Stairs, so was Palace. And yet they still had the money to buy up the smokes. Did they not actually not buy them? I didn't even look at that when we went to the round.
Maybe they just knew they were going to go for a faster push onto the side, but
like after
still, yeah, you'd still section off some of the. It's weird.
It's odd. I mean, and this is like one of the few maps that you can go for full execute onto the A side. The other team will let you get the bomb down, and then it's about only the after plant situation. So that's really odd to me. But now their economy could be broken. If they lose this round now, they'll be forced onto the save, and CyberZen could easily get 3 on the board.
Already, Savage is going to kick things off. Dink straight through. HZ has gone right up the top of mid and has the chance to trade out his SMG for something a little bit better. Still, they got the AWP homed in. Viva's been caught out a few times with getting the wrong rotation, but yeah, we've got HZ actually looking in on the flank. Another comes in. It was actually TB who dinked his own teammate. I wondered where that shot came from. Zents are able to trade once again, but they've still got to be wary of this flank, and you can see the rest of the CT should be a little bit slower. The bomb's actually peeking in here. Risky from Asylum, but he does actually manage to connect the shot, and I think they are a little bit worried about the flank coming in, but clearly not aware of how close HZ actually is. And there's Savage as well to close out the round. So finally, we do see the break.
You know, I didn't actually hate that push in towards Kitchen to go for another kill, because they realized, like, the gig was up. The other team knew they were going B, and they weren't able to be as quick as they wanted to, so they can maybe assume a quick rotate would have come in.
I just don't like it with the bomb.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that, definitely. But I like the idea of it at least.
Yeah,
to equalize things a little bit, make things a little bit more in your favor. Fortunately, it didn't work out for them. And then this goes into another thing I was looking at yesterday. In the CyberZen versus Greyhound game, there was 0 pauses in the entire match. Even with CyberZen down 7-0, why the hell are they not taking a pause to talk some things over? Yes, they're on the CT side, but if anything, just slow the momentum, freeze out Aequus like we see in traditional sports. For instance, in like American football, you know, you pause the kicker, you try to freeze him out to make him get nervous, and then just take a second to compose yourself. And yet, the pause we just saw come in was out of Aequus.
Yeah, I'd like, yeah, especially in the early rounds where they were like going for force buys and stuff. Like maybe take a moment to consider the consequences or like what could come of it. But hey, it doesn't seem to be their style. Their style is random and aggressive.
I think there's also the other side to the coin is that if they do pause, they give Aequus a chance to think things over and talk things over to the way they're playing. But without being up 7-0, it's not like they needed to in Viva. It's a nice little spray down for a double.
This is looking much, much better from CyberZen. Of course, it's only pistols, but looking to try and get themselves a clean round, which has to be said was something that Aequus pretty much failed to do in all of the rounds that we actually saw them play. It was very, very close, even if it was just pistols. Bottle will go down, but that should be the rifle retrieved, so only an SMG loss for the CT side, which, if anything, may actually be a bit more of a benefit, because hopefully that means we'll see rifles across the board.
Well, we're going to go into the next round here, round number 10. We're going to see if, sorry, round number 11, and see if CyberZen can keep this momentum up, as they've been able to take now 3 straight here. We're going to have the BIPE come back in out of Aequus. Again, the utility is going to be a little bit lacking, as you can see. But they still have a heavy invested into Molotovs, actually, which I find interesting. Choosing the Molotov over the smoke to clear out some positions. But I feel like that's kind of been feeding into the way that they've been playing here so far.
Once again, the challenge for mid-control, it has to be said, other than the sort of really aggressive pushes we've seen from the CT side, there hasn't been a whole lot of a challenge for mid in general. It's just been more, okay, either we take it completely or just let them have it. It's not been a sort of middle ground of like, sort of like trying to take the battles versus the Ts. They're fairly happy to play from the sites. And like you could already see Savage has pretty much just abandoned any section of window. But this time, we are going to see the smoke out for Connector. I wonder if there's a little bit of a gap around the corner of that. They'll have to be a little bit careful. And Hydra sat on ramp, as it looks like they are just going to go for a split, but they don't have any sort of smoke for sure. Now, they're very lucky that there's no one there. So it won't actually be a problem for them, as it is so passive at the moment. But Savage, once again, he's been very good at finding these early picks. Hydra, nice snap onto HZ, and TB going to be up close, takes the wide peek. I think he knew he was going to get pincered in, but now this is just risk and no reward for the CT side as they try and gamble back into the site, going through the quote-unquote murder hole and getting murdered. There's a reason for the name. Now the remaining players have just got to try and duck out of the round. Is Viva going to get caught? He's actually going to take the fight. They're the ones with the economy issues here. Savage is going to manage to pick off Anarchiz at least 1 kill. And they're still trying to really do damage to that T economy, which is understandable, but at the same time, I'm more the sort of the safer person. Like, secure your own economy first, then try and do damage to your opponents.
I was actually surprised to see Bottle just push through the murder hole. I mean, it's either you're going to get murdered or you're going to come out with glory, and in his situation, it came out with him being murdered. There was like, the thing is, there was like no smoke off, anything like that. They saw that it was completely open. They came in from connector with 3 players, or 2-3 players. Like, I'm actually surprised to see him just flat out push through it. Maybe he was trying to catch him off guard. He could have went around towards CT and stayed alive, and then just giving them that control, but either way, it doesn't work out for them, and Aequus is going to take another round.
I think especially if you know that they've gone through connector, you can, like, 99% assume there's going to be someone in jungle. Like, that was such a risky play, but I feel like that's just CyberZen. It's all or nothing. It's like, I'm going to kill everyone or I'm going to die. And there's no, like, a lot of the time there seems to be no thought process in a lot of the decisions they're making, and it's losing them rounds.
I would actually like to, like, in an interview, ask them about their playstyle and why they play the way that they do and why they feel it's the best way to play.
I feel like you're only going to get an answer that will really annoy Pimp.
Well, that's not hard to do. Let's be fair. But either way, into round number 12, Aequus have a massive lead here, currently at 8-3. And again, just walking up, not using smokes, not telegraphing anything in Hydra. They're actually going to catch out 2 players looking over towards A-Ref. They pick up their pace here. Aequus takes the first on HZ. TV's going to take down 1 and a second. Maybe get the transfer in time, but there's no way they're going to expect a second player to be here. It's going to be Savage, and he will get the first frag. The bomb going to be rotating in from T-spawn, and Savage is going to be rotating back as well.
I think he heard it.
Oh, and he's peacing out. He's put on his Nikes. He's running away from this one.
You mean his unsponsored ESL shoes?
Yes.
Of course.
From Snipes.
That's what we're actually all wearing.
You can send me free stuff. I'll give you my address later. I can say that on stream.
The 1v2 for Asylum. They have been pretty good in these clutch situations, it has to be said. There's been a lot of close rounds in this match, and Aequus have come out with pretty much all of them. The fact is, can he do it again? And the CTs, obviously, they can't really gamble on their defense. They have absolutely no idea where he's going. He could have run all the way around to B, so Viva's just going to be waiting on that side of the map, and Savage is left here alone. They are the 2 top fraggers at the moment for the CyberZen side. The problem is, if he goes for any sort of default plant, he's dead. Like, the Palace is pretty much the worst position for that, and this is the perfect place for Savage. Very well played. Bomb will go down, so it's a little bit of extra money that probably CyberZen didn't want to hand over to their opponents, but they do break back in an important round. This is the one where their economy would have been absolutely wrecked, and we would have pretty much seen 10+ round guaranteed for Aequus. Now they still have a chance to turn this back even to an 8-7, which, considering how things started, that would really not be a bad turnaround at all.
100%. The thing is, they still have a while to go before they can get to that. Aequus is going to be taking another timeout here, so that's half of theirs now gone.
Do CyberZen have a coach? Because I haven't seen, the first time we looked at them, I didn't see anybody behind them. Obviously,
well, luckily, I can go to liquipedia.net and tell you if they do have a coach currently listed. Addingwell is currently listed as their coach.
Maybe it's just set down. But
whether or not he's here is another question, and I don't believe he's here with them.
It doesn't look like it. So I guess that could be another reason, like, why they're not taking a huge amount of tactical pauses, is because ultimately they're just going to be listening to Savage or whoever anyway. So he can maybe just do it at the beginning of the round. Obviously, I still like it for the idea of momentum. There's plenty of reasons to take a pause, but obviously for Aequus' sake, they've got Emi standing behind him. They brought him in for a reason, so they're going to give him the time to talk, and, well, so far, so good. Still 8-4 up. Obviously, this round was sort of a, do we force, do we not? Do we want to try and break back in economy? They're taking the safer route, and I've said it before, I'm much more interested in seeing teams like focus on their full buys, not go for these risky force buys that, well, for CyberZen at least haven't been working too well, at least in terms of winning the rounds, but it is going to be a fast replay. Nice shot from Viva. Needs to kick things off, but still 4 players to find.
There's no way they expect Bottle here. And actually, they fake out the plant, and they actually catch them off guard. The problem is, it doesn't matter, because he's got a weapon, and Aequus don't. And that will be a clean sweep here for CyberZen. One of the cleanest rounds they've had over the course of this first half. As we go into round 14, there's a legitimate chance we could see that 8-7 scoreline, like you're saying.
It's sort of painful, though. Because you watch the way they're playing, and you're like, if they actually come out of this for 7 rounds, it's like, how have they managed to do it?
If they, like... If in, like, the second round, if, like, maybe they got 1 extra frag or able to win 1v1, we could have been seeing, you know, potentially them on 10. You know, like a 10-5 scoreline, even potentially more than
even
that.
If they just ecoed a little bit earlier.
Just let it go. Just let it go, man. No, I'm just kidding. I agree, though. Like, if they have the weapons, especially with the way Bottle and Savage have been playing so far, and Viva stepped up. Of course, just like talk about Savage, his head completely taken off. And I'm not going to win the lottery tonight, so we'll see how that works out for me. But in the meantime, that nade is going to do 0 damage, but it doesn't matter.
This was a kill.
Oh, it did get a kill, sorry.
It's going to do 0 damage, but he killed someone. 3 kills for Bottle. Nice work in middle. And
Cast a curse. I called it before it did any damage. And then, of course, it had to do like 3,000, which is not even possible.
It is if you believe. Well, Bottle still, he wants more. He's looking to try and take the fight into middle. He is the man that was highlighted on the desk and can be the star of this show and seems to have come alive in this round at least. He's going to do everything. Bottle with the ace. And yeah, CyberZen, they're looking good for that 7.
Especially now with Aequus having pretty much no money and just forcing up into these pistols. You're shaking your head. You're a little bit confused. You're a little bit frustrated. I can hear Pimp.
How does he push mid and get 5 kills like that?
Like that?
It's impressive, but you do sort of have to sit there and go, wow. Like, okay. How does he not get killed? But anyway, moving on, just for my sanity's sake.
Cast with me. You're not allowed to have sanity. You do have an auto sniper picked up for Savage, by the way.
Savage by name, savage by nature. A weapon that many frown upon, and we'll see if he's going to be punished for using it. It's only pistols as well. A bit of brutality thrown in from Savage, but he does get the early double. TB's looking to try and push back in his own. Actually going to be caught out. The auto sniper may come to punish this CT side, as now it's in the hands of Hydra. And he's going to look to try and shoot off the many heads of CyberZen.
Let's see, though, over towards A ramp. He has head armor as well, so he's not going to be aim punched at all. 2 from CT, 1 from stairs. He's actually watching this angle. He actually turns away at the last second. But Punk's going to be there. He gets the first. Viva and Bottle Jr. going to be the last alive. Viva gets 1. Hydra's able to chime in with his auto sniper, and just as you said, it was a savage buy-up, but unfortunately comes back to haunt them, and that's going to be finally them able to take a round to take it 9-6 at the end of the first half. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be headed to a short break. When we come back, the continuation here of our first match of the day will be here. Well, if you guys went AFK after the first couple of rounds here on Mirage, you might be a little bit surprised to see the score line now here between these two teams, as Aequus had a 7-0 start and then went on to only be up 9-6 at the end of the first half. So credit to CyberZen for what they've been able to accomplish so far in the series. As Bled tweeted out, this is some of the August Mirage we've seen so far in this tournament.
Well, it's going to be a quick push in onto this A site. Nice little crossfire for the CTs. I think there may have even been a team dink in there somewhere, but nonetheless, it seems to be working out. Although, again, it always seems to go back into a 2 versus 2. There's never just a clean round for Aequus when they do take themselves the lead.
What happened? We were in like the first 20 seconds of the round, and all of a sudden 6 people are dead. It's insane how fast and loose they're playing. This is a best of 3. This is your tournament life at stake.
Are they going to expect Zenser? They are, but he's just going to fade away, take down TB, and leave it onto Savage. Now, he has been one of the best players in the server so far, and we're going to see if he can clutch this one out. At least gets a bomb plant, that's guaranteed. There's nothing anybody can do to stop that. And the rotation about to try and come in from Zenser. He does also have the P250, which, although gives him the lack of armor, gives him a little bit of range, which the Glock doesn't really have. Also has a flashbang, which... well, we'll see if he can utilize that. Either way, smoke going to go down. Doesn't actually really benefit. It's not onto the bomb at all, so still the bomb will be ticking. Savage has been spotted, so they know exactly where he is. He's going to go for the peek out, but doesn't manage to find anything. It's just going to be the flash as he attempts to peek onto the bomb. Still, there's nobody on it. Nice shot from Savage as he just looks to burn down the clock. And he has won this round purely based off of time. There's nothing Zenser can do in this situation. And somehow, what was that? 2v5? They managed to turn it back.
What's going on here?
I don't know, but I think he actually did dink his teammate in the middle of that.
I really want to have this map finish just quickly and get to the analysis desk to hear what they have to say, because I feel like it's just going to be Pimp and Blood just face palming.
Not even that. When Blair comes out of that room, he's going to have the same hairstyle as me.
Because he pulled it all out from
Ripped
frustration.
it all out. I'll have a nice new belt.
What? A belt of hair?
Hey,
You're into it.
Till you try it.
Anyways, 7-9 as CyberZen do take that round. Well played by Savage there to draw that round as long as he possibly could. Speaking of the man, he's trying to make a play over towards Catwalk, or sorry, towards Short. Towards Connector, if I can get my words out here. That's just how confused I am with what's been going on in this map.
I'm enjoying myself.
I always enjoy myself when I'm here with you, Tom.
It feels weird when you say something nice.
Because it makes me look extra taller and makes me look like I have more hair than I actually do.
There you go.
Come on, you knew it wasn't going to be that nice. In the meantime, though, CyberZen going to push into the A site, uncontested. And there should be the bomb down. And
did you not see him planting the bomb? Pretty sure he was looking directly at him. The guy in Connector could have had a freebie. Instead, they're going to get a couple of free kills. Oh, no. How much damage can they realistically do here? There's still like a Mach 10, a couple of DEs. There's another one. Can Punk do anything more? I think all of us are being punked at the moment because this game is absolutely ridiculous. And now Zenser, can he do any more damage with the DE? Yes, he can. He's going to finish off one more and get all of the remaining kills. Sure. Does he actually have time to defuse this? No, he doesn't. Okay. I was just sort of sat there for a moment like there's... No. Just no.
Actually, if you look right over there, you can see some hidden cameras and the Ashton Kutchers are where they come out. Dear Lord, this is just really weird, insane play out of both teams. Just strategies out the window. Let's just fight. Just duke it out.
Bear in mind, this was a 5v5 after plant.
Since when did Counter-Strike become an arena FPS? That's what I want to know.
Stop. Just stop. I'm in enough pain as it is. But yeah, they now do so much damage in the previous round that they come in with a pretty solid buy on the CT side. And the Ts, it's messy. They've got a couple of SMGs, a reasonable amount of utility, which is where they do sort of outdo the CT side a little bit. Looking like they want to go for a faster play over towards the A side. But thankfully, once the smoke went down, they decided not to push through it.
You say that.
Yeah.
But watch what's going to happen right now. Okay, no, not that crazy. Oh my god, please don't. All right. But they do have a player lurking over towards middle, which I like to see. It's Savage, again, the big playmakers you pointed out, and the desk pointed out over the course of the pre-match. But with that though, it's going to be hard for him to really do much at range, especially against the buy-up that Aequus do have. They're being cautious, actually. CyberZen, they're actually watching the flank. That's what Savage is kind of doing, so they don't get flanked in from T-spawn. Flashes have to come in. Sion, they get dinked up quite heavily here. Hydra is going to be tucked away towards site, but he gets taken down here by the AK out of HC and Bottle Jr. Okay, Pons Anarch is able to fight back, and Punked again able to get another frag on the board. Very crucial frags this man is picking up. And Bottle, he's out of here. He's immediately running away. Maybe try to get over towards that B side or potentially fake out back towards A. And for Aequus here, I feel like you almost want to stick together as three, especially with how this match has been going.
Well, yeah, you sent their economy down to nothing in the last round after killing everyone. So even if they get a bomb plant, it doesn't actually make a difference to the buy. The CyberZen can't buy into the next round anyway. So if they just stick together, they've got one man sort of a little bit over to the other side of the map. So if there are footsteps or if he hears the bomb going down, they can all rotate. And yeah, just focus on your own economy. And I think that's something that Aequus have done quite well. They've been trying to build up cash. And on the other side of things, CyberZen just don't really care. They just buy whenever they fancy. So yeah. It is just going to be the save from Bottle. He'll have an AK into the next round. Everybody else should. Well, I say should have nothing, but I almost feel like they will force just because they have so little cash. They can't really buy into the next anyway.
I was going to say, you maybe forgot we're casting the CyberZen here.
I don't know. It's like, what, so... Yeah, CT side first rounds, they're only going to get 1,400, so I actually don't have a problem with them forcing into this one because their money is so wrecked by the last round that some of them actually had the minimum amount of cash you can possibly get without just dying after time on the T side.
And I thing is, like, I want to kind of like look into this in an analytical point of view of like, you know, if getting the AWP, can they dismantle some defenses? But it's just been so brawly that, you know, even Goku would have a tough time fighting back from this one. Either way, 8 to 10.
But that's what it was. They were just powering up for all of those rounds.
For like 5 episodes in a row.
The first 7 rounds of the game were just CyberZen powering up.
Channeling their...
They were all screaming in their seats. Either way.
I think I heard Blood give us a sympathy laugh over there in the green room. Thanks for that, man. Appreciate it. 1:10 left to go. And they've been able to sneak their way up connector. There's no one actually watching the A site, funny enough. They could have maybe have gotten the bomb down. Hydra's going to be very far pushed up towards Palace, so if he can hear the bomb being planted or hear them pushing in towards the site, he can maybe flank around, prevent the bomb from going down, prevent a lot of money. But we're going to see a plant over towards short. Again, Savage can be waiting in that position with the CZ. He needs to get that big kill, though, onto Anarchiz, who's currently sitting behind a smoke to pick up a weapon and maybe help out from here. But Anarchiz gets the shot. The smoke has dissipated, and Savage, you can tell he wants his AWP because they could win the round off the back of that, especially with Anarchiz being the only player there.
Yeah, this would be crucial. If he can get this kill, he has the perfect angle onto the bomb. So that's going to be probably the most impactful kill, other than maybe Bottle just trying to do it alone. But there's been a few kills. He does get the AWP. The problem is the smoke has already gone down, so he has to quickly move in through the connector and actually try and get towards the bomb. Nade going to be dunked down. It's just going to be something through the smoke, if anything. And, well, Savage isn't even going to bother. Keep the AWP, give them to fight something in the next round. Okay, the CT's not going to be too unhappy with that. I do wonder why he didn't just take a pot shot.
Exactly, right? Because they knew where the bomb was planted.
Have you not seen Dupree? He can do it. Why can't Savage?
Because Dupree is, was it number 2? No, he's like top 10 in the world.
Yeah, he did pretty well.
He did right. But no, I 100% agree. Like, why would you just not go for the shot? It's not like he ran away to T-spawn to hide, right? So why not go for it?
no-scope it. Like, give it
we
a go.
caught now. And as we learned from Stunna. Just going to stop there. Not give anyone else anything to write about here today on a slow news day here in the world of esports. Anarchiz, though, going to be pushed up over towards B halls. Bomb is currently leaning in this direction of the map, and they're actually getting aggressive here. I'm surprised to see him push this far up, but he got up early enough that there was no one crossed over to the side to get surprised on, and Zenser is going to be the one to take the head off of Bottle Jr.
Still takes a dink in return, and we still have Savage with that AWP saved from the previous round. He's actually going to be the one boosting up HZ to try and make a bit of a play, as he would just sit around in this mid spot. Again, it seems like quite a passive hold coming out from either CT side, just trying to hold back in towards the sites and somewhat gamble, like we saw the aggression in the previous round into the Palace. However, Savage, he's just trying to get an elevated angle, but he's got to be a little bit careful of these remaining players around that short spot. Ponk slightly misses the timing. He won't get the second either, so Savage will be able to escape, and HZ, more importantly, has managed to be a little bit sneaky around the back of this market.
Don't tell me Aequus are going to throw this round somehow. Oh no, oh, Punk's just... Punk, get your weapon out, shoot your gun! HC gets the frag. Now, Anarchiz is going to have a lot of pressure towards him. He's going to have to get these shots. He doesn't have an escape right here, but he creates one, taking out HC and Savage! Anarchiz is being the man they need here. He can't take down TB, but he's bought time. He's bought a chance here for the CTs to come in. The bomb has been dropped, and just like that, with the Hail Mary of a play, Advanticas, they saved the round. Oh dear Lord, this. My heart's gonna explode, not just from the coffee I'm drinking, but from how these rounds are going.
Just everything about this round was at best. Like, how does he hit both of these shots? Just one jumping and falling, hitting the air, and just, I don't even know. I felt like the way I commentated that was more like a sort of skateboarding movie. Like, hits the grind towards the end. It just doesn't
50-50.
make any sense. But, you know.
I'm digging this. I'm digging the Asia Minor. I'm not gonna lie. This is like some exciting Counter-Strike. We don't have to wait, you know, a minute and 30 seconds for any real action to come in.
Sometimes you don't even have to wait 30 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, here we go now, round 21. Honestly, could not tell you how this series is going to go anymore. There's no way we can predict any sort of scoreline here at this rate.
I felt like even flipping a coin wouldn't do it justice. Like,
the coin would land on its like straight up standing.
I felt like it's one of those questions you'd have to ask like that super robot from like
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, and it would still just be like 42. Like, that's the answer to your question.
I know you would stump it, be like, I don't know. I have no idea.
No idea.
Well, let's see if CyberZen have an idea, though, of how they want to go about this. They have a massive spread across the map here. You can see a person post up in connector, one in T-spawn bringing the bomb back, even one push towards B-halls. I feel like CyberZen are just expecting or hoping for some aggression of Aequus, and then to turn that in their favor is just... Honestly, you can see Aequus are being more passive this round and not giving them an opportunity to get an early frag. But the connector's kind of left open here. Punked going to be hurt and actually going to back away. So there's actually a chance we could see CyberZen just sneak through in towards window. Look at that. They're actually got two players already pushed up in towards jungle. Simon's going to be there to spot him out at least to cover that angle. But that could have easily gone a different direction.
Nice couple of shots from him has probably saved the round, but the Molotov will clear one, and the trades just come back in seconds.
What was that about saving the round, Tom?
Bottle and Savage doing work again, and somehow it always hits a 2v2, no matter the situation, no matter what's going on. But luckily, in these situations, the CTs have done good work, but this man is trying to stump them once again. Savage turns it into the 1v1 versus Hydra, knows the position and finds the kill as well. How many clutches has he now pulled off of them? I feel like he's won half of the rounds for his team in these like end of round situations.
Tom, there's three things certain in life now. Death, taxes, and a 2v2 with CyberZen and Aequus. That's pretty much what's come down to. Oh, I think it was like, they got 2 kills on the get-go, right? They were trying to push in towards jungle, and yet somehow they still get a triple entering the site. Like, the raw aim out of these players is carrying them into this match. They're carrying them up to 9 rounds. Just imagine if they had like some legitimate strategy, you know, behind that, how good of a team they could be.
If you're IMI in this situation, like, what are you even saying? Like, right, guys, when you get into a 5 versus 2, if 3 of you could just not die, that would be absolutely fantastic. Like, I don't know what you say in these situations, because every time they're in like a massive advantage, and then somehow CyberZen just get 3 kills back, and you just sat there looking at them like, what do I say? Like, I would not like to be in his shoes.
There's nothing I could tell you strategically wise.
Yeah.
Not lose
Your
those
positions
rounds.
were fantastic, but you still died, so I don't really know what to do. I'm hoping he's a little bit better at his job than I am at his job, and that's probably why he has his job. Either way, Bottle is going to be finding the opener this time. It's not an advantage for Aequus, which is something we normally see. The quick push going to be coming into the site again, with Asylum in the backlines. Savage with another onto Ponct.
Did he just run up middle into connector and do that?
Let's just assume so.
Oh my.
He's actually going to escape as well. This is looking much better from CyberZen. Just cleaning up this site. It's left all onto Asylum in the backlines, and can't turn into a 2v2 this time. The money is now gone as well for Aequus. It's looking like sort of the previous half where they start quite well and then fade away, but this time it's happened quite a bit earlier. And that's a little bit worrying for Aequus. I believe as well this is their map choice as well.
This is their map choice. Wait, just to remind you guys at home who might just be joining us here, we started off 7-0 to Aequus.
Although we have to admit that I think that 3 or 4 of those rounds came down to 1v1s.
Yeah.
So like, it's not as close as you might think. Then we had CyberZen win a few rounds, and some of them even win them with 0 players alive, which against an eco. That was in our second half. It's definitely been an interesting match, and if you have missed what's happened so far, you're probably still sane. That's the good point, but you have missed some crazy moments. Obviously, this time, I want to say this should be quite a clean round for CyberZen, but I don't feel safe even saying that.
Even if all of one team was dead, we would still probably not be confident to say it's going to be a clean
And they've all
round.
died to the bomb.
Still not sure if it's going to be clean, though. Well, we do have one player only. It's going to be Zen to defend. LA has a USP. It's a full save here out of Aequus. Full eco into this round. And yet, CyberZen are being cautious. I think they're trying to suss out some information. Savage gets the first. Again, not going to be a clean round, as we can see. Hydra should be able to secure that MAC-10. Being very careful about how he does retreat away from this as TV's trying to find him out. And again, turns the wrong direction. What is going on here, Tom? His hands are in his face. Minor going to be there momentarily, but finally HC and Viva do finally put this back into normality. Asylum, watch him, he's going to get like a 2K here. I'm just calling it right now. If that happens, I think I'm just going to shave my head.
You can't. Same.
Oh, don't.
Gone. Yes, he's going to get the Aequus.
Oh, no!
Goodbye.
What is going
Goodbye,
on?
Jason's hair. Everybody, please clip that and tweet at ESL, at J Kaplan, all across the internet.
Just make sure you're following at J Kaplan.
If he gets 2 kills, he's going to shave his head. So there you go, 2 kills. The one time you don't cast a curse him.
I technically did cast a curse myself.
Yeah.
That one. Like,
he almost gets the 3rd one as well. That's the most worrying thing. That was unreal. One player survives to
how is that not a clean round? They're all USPs. How do they get 4 God, I just don't want to do this anymore. How does this happen? Yeah. Worst part is I have a really badly shaped head, and the hair is the only thing I have going for myself.
Oh dear Lord.
But my sanity's gone. My hair will be gone soon, probably.
I think we should
What
get
is
that
happening?
done at the major. Just like bring you in, get your head shaved.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a fun day for me.
It is for everyone else. Either way, back to the game. TB, he's managed to get himself the opening kill. Punked there with the trade, but he's hitting the 4v4. Zensa sprays wildly, but a lot of damage already done to the CyberZen side. Looking to try and find those openers once again. By the looks of it, though, they're actually going to go rotating back, but they've been caught in middle. Looking a lot better from the CT side. Cleaner kills coming in. The question is, are we going to have our sort of crazy trades going back once again? That seems to be the case, and the T's are all over the place at the moment. One in towards the ladder and one top mid. One walking around the back of the spawn. All in individual positions and a lot of fights that need to be taken. Even watching short for his own teammate there is Bottle. But now they look to round into the side. Bottle surely can't do anything here. HZ will be able to trade, but Asylum is there once again. And is left all onto Viva. 1 versus 3, looking to try and get that bomb down, but just can't do it. And it will be a 13th on the board for Aequus. Obviously, again, we talk about so much damage being done in that USP round that their money's messy again.
All right, can we do a double or nothing on this? Is that doable?
No.
I mean, what? Okay, if I step it up to like waxing my chest instead of shaving my head.
Is that really stepping it up?
That's very painful.
It's very painful, but as a man with a full head of hair, I feel like it's not as painful as shaving your head.
That's because you don't have hair on your head.
I know that, like, for me, it's not really that much of a deal. I don't think it's bad having a shaved head. Why? What's wrong with it?
Everything, because it's cold. It's winter.
They have these things they invented called hats. They're quite good.
I told you, I have an oddly shaped head. Why are you going to rub this in on me, man? Come on. 13-11 here for Aequus. CyberZen. They don't have the prettiest of eyes, as TB does eat. Oh, no. He eats a nade. I still can't tell you how this is going to go. I can't even say with confidence that Aequus is going to win this. I can't say with confidence that CyberZen is going to win this map.
I think the only thing that we can be fairly confident is it should go to all of the rounds, because it has been so backwards and forwards over the last few streaks of 3 for either side, and well, Aequus managing to still be in the lead at least for now. And Zensa, he's got all the way through Abs, all the way into the back of Abs. Savage, there's no way he can expect.
Hello?
Oh, he doesn't see him. That's the X-ray giving you a little bit of extra there, and actually the T's in the meantime managed to get a couple of kills. Still, Aequus has caught one, but look at the flank. Zensa's right behind. He catches the bomb on the floor in towards the spawn, but then he doesn't know that Savage also behind him. He gets that kill as well. Zensa with a double that could have just ended the round. The rest of the team is still trying to fight for the site. The fact is the bomb is not coming.
Just
and
stay
HZen
alive.
has to be careful. It won't matter. Aequus is going to get the kills in the end, and Zensa with that double towards the spawn. That was, again, just, it made no sense. Like, I feel like somebody had to know that there was the player there. Like, I'm not sure why Savage was in the...
He ran to T-spawn, right? Am I not, did I hear things? Did I see things?
Look, Jason.
Oh, man.
Things don't make sense.
What a world we live in.
Well, CyberZen, they're back on pistols. Their favored weapon.
I was going to say, yeah, they're back on pistols, but that's not saying they're at a disadvantage in this round.
No. Also, if they do manage to scrape this round, when they do manage to scrape this round,
You'll wax your chest.
oh, I'm not doing anything. I'm already bold. I don't need to do anything more to myself.
You'll
My genes have done that for me.
you'll cosplay as Mr. Clean.
No, I already did. Aequus, though, starts things off. It's going to be the fast push in. Molotov will force one out. TB able to trade one, but the positions are good from the remaining players. I'm more interested in Savage. Can he somehow find this kill onto Zensa? That would be pretty much the B side completely open. There's nobody else here, and the drop down, he may just be able to get past without making any noise, at least any that Zensa can hear. It's just going to be that kill onto short. The rotation already slightly coming back for the remaining players, but this is going to be it. If Savage can just finish off this player, but he doesn't manage to connect the shots, and now the rotation has come in for the remainder. Ponk will put him down, and that leaves just TB remaining. There should be a 15th round on the board as Aequus finally get themselves to the map point. And now, well, all we're going to get is pistols again.
And again, I can't say that Aequus has this round in the bag with how this match has gone, how this map has gone. This is only map 1, keep in mind. We still have Inferno to come up next, and if we can get to a third map, it'll be Train of all maps. I would love to see Train somehow with these two teams and how they've been playing. It's really anyone's guess on how this series is going to play out over the course of these next few hours. Here we go. Can Aequus close this out, put themselves up 1-0? This is their map choice. CyberZen, even with just the pistols, I still have confidence that there's a good chance they still can come back for this, especially with Silent pushing up like this. He doesn't spot out the player above him, and luckily for him, he does escape with 0 points of damage taken. But he only spotted one, so he doesn't know there's actually going to be 3 other players there. This is why you see him shoulder peeking, trying to gather more info. And in the meantime, Savage again on his own, going to be flanking in from underpass. Oh, again, he gets behind players, but Asylum is just mowing them down here towards A ramp. Savage able to take down Punked. Not able to recover the weapon, though. What's up?
It's just going to happen. I just feel it coming. There's going to be aggression out from Zensa once again. They're actually going to look to try and fight in mid-control. Luckily, there isn't really anybody there. It's only Aequus with the AWP.
Why would you go middle with just pistols as well? What do you know you're up against an op?
Surprise.
Hey, I'm just as surprised as probably Aequus might be here in this round.
He may actually be able to completely avoid it.
There's no way he's going to die here.
Aequus goes for the peek. He spots all the information. That's the big thing. It's just the direction they're actually going to go. They double back. I like it. They're going to go back towards the A site because they were spotted going towards B. This is actually really smart from CyberZen to try and section off the rest of the site. The only player they have to worry about is Hydra sat in the corner. And there's only 20 seconds left on the clock, so they have so many angles left to clear. The rotation will now come back in from the CT that was in the corner. But Savage, he's actually going to check the angle. And now they look to finish off the orbit, but they can't quite do it. He's going to get another kill. This is a mistake again from CyberZen. 9 seconds left on the clock as they will retrieve the bomb, jumping up. Now Zensa may just be able to spray him through, but he's actually just going to instead opt to get that little bit closer. TB looking for the peek out. I don't know actually if he spotted anything there. Zensa just waiting up above on the stairs. Both players now knowing where the other individual currently sits is going to just come down to the 1v1 duel. TB with no utility, but he's going to win it anyway. Headshot onto the final player, and with pistols, CyberZen make it work.
This is madness, honestly, Tom. And it sure as hell is not Sparta. What is happening in this series? 7-0 scoreline for Aequus Club. And then CyberZen, on the shoddiest of buys, are able to win rounds. Aequus taking their last time out here to discuss what the hell is going on. The money is not even really there here for CyberZen. You don't forget the AK, stick to pistols. How many pistol rounds have they won versus how many gun rounds have they won. I feel like it's really damn close.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know the song Crazy? I think
by who?
Pretty much the beginning of that song just sort of like, I remember when I lost my mind. I think
Britney
it was...
Spears?
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, I think that pretty much just sums up my life at the moment, because this has been just a ludicrous game, but it's been exciting, that's for sure. Enjoyable to watch, even I'm so excited.
Yeah, even though like we're
the day.
having some fun with this and being confused, but it's still a really fun game to cast and a really fun game to watch, because no one can predict what the hell is going to happen in this match. We're going to have a two-man stack of Aequus over towards short. Actually, they're going in towards underpass. They're actually flanking behind them.
Yeah, they're already on the
Don't tell me they win like this.
They've only got a few pistols in this round. A dink hit straight onto TB. He's going to expect the second player. Information at least gathered, but it won't matter. Punk's going to remove his head anyway. Viva now looking to throw the same Molotov that his teammate just failed to throw. Still got a couple of players in towards the market as well. Comes the peek back in. Viva just looking to restore a little bit of normality to this one. However, Aequus doesn't like that idea, and he's managed to retrieve an AK-47. You can tell in their minds that they still believe that they can win this round, just based off what has been done over the last few. Pong's even going to be waiting. They're just trying to hold for the exits. He doesn't manage to kill, and now it's just all onto the AK of Aequus, and eventually he does make this decision just to fade away and hold it into the next round. 15-13, CyberZen just 2 away from continuing this Mirage map.
Okay, Tom, I'm 90% sure the production is just messing with us. I feel like Ashton Kutcher is going to come out from some sort of doorway on us. Like, how is this happening? I think there's...
Welcome back to CSJ.
Yeah, right? Like, could we potentially see an overtime happen now at this rate? Can Aequus come together and close out? If they lose this round, they're not going to be that far along on the loss bonus.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a difficult one for them.
Yeah.
A difficult purchase into the next round if things go wrong. However, the buy they have now is a pretty damn good one. They've got a saved AK, they've got themselves the AWP, lots of utility as well. Only one kit, but we'll see if that actually plays a part in the later round. And actually, just going to be a fast play towards the B side. Viva's just running and gunning. He's gone in alone. The team aren't with him, but he's still doing the damage anyway. He finds 2 kills. He's killed by TB, but it doesn't even matter. The site's gone, and you almost have to wonder at this point if Aequus need to make the decision to save, because getting back into this B site is not easy. Now, obviously, mistakes get made by CyberZen basically every couple of rounds, but I don't think they're going to overface this one. I don't think they're going to take any risks in this scenario, and the CTs have made the decision to save. Bottle will go down. In terms of the T economy, it's not the best, but winning the round will give them enough money that they can afford to buy. If they manage to just take weapons out of the hands of their opponents, it's much more worthwhile for them.
Are they going to expect Savage around this quickly? The thing is, that op out of Aequus has proven him well, but there's a chance. If Savage goes a little bit quicker and looks towards CT, can catch just in the nick of time to get around the corner. But they're not going to go for the chase, not going to actually spot them out in time. 14-15, and you can see, or we can see at least at the moment, that 2 players of Aequus cannot afford to buy. 2,400 for Zenser, 2,600 for Ponged. I don't even know what's going on, but I don't want this to ever end. This is such an exciting match to watch. And CyberZen still have yet to take a single timeout this entire map.
I think the analysts might agree with you, but not so much on the basis they want this to keep going, but just because they then have to break this down.
Yeah, that'd be fun, guys. I can just Pim. I think Pim's gonna be hairless as
pick
well.
up the laptop and just throw it somewhere. But obviously, it's so robust that it's not going to break.
And high quality, that of course it wouldn't break. It would actually break the floor and go into the floor under us. Maybe hit a player in the head as in the arena.
But then they'll have a laptop, so it'll be all good. Either way.
So you're saying I can hit you in the head with a laptop as long as you get to keep it?
If it's one of those laptops.
All right, well, we'll keep that in mind. Aequus, what a shot. Blinded up here. We see the push coming in. CyberZen gets a leg onto Viva as well. He's actually by himself. We've seen Magic out of him before. Not going to see it this time, though, as Bottle Jr. does close Bottle on this one and gets a second as well. 3-on-3. Remember, 2-on-2 is almost destined to happen here between these two. And there it is.
Yeah, back into that 2v2 situation.
Wait, is he running away? Zenser expecting maybe the bomb was actually a fake over towards A?
Oh, either that or he's going to try and make it back onto short.
Yeah.
No, he's going to go all the way around. All the way on the flank. Viva, he's got 4 HP. Again, another seemingly impossible scenario. The time's starting to tick as well, so that flank could make all the difference. He's going to try and fake out the plant, and Hydra almost takes the peak, but knows that the risk just isn't worth it, especially the position of his teammates. Should be able to fairly easily close out the round for his team.
Behind you.
Viva actually not in a bad spot to try and cover this off, but he doesn't even have any idea about the flank. It would just be if there's any sort of drop down. It won't matter. Aequus, it takes them a long time to close out this map, and, well, it was a damn messy one, but the fact is they have managed to take their map choice. The second map is going to be Inferno, and it's going to be just as entertaining.
Oh, I sure as hell hope so. There's no way we can have a map like that happen with a stomp on the second map. We're going to head to a short break because I think the analysts requested it since they need more time to figure out what to say in the next segment to break down that first map. So after the break, they'll be doing that, and then we'll begin underway with Inferno in just a few moments.